What happens when we die? Is death a blank nothingness, a final punctuation to the story of existence? Or could it be a doorway to something extraordinary, something unimaginable? Alan Watts, the brilliant philosopher who introduced millions to Eastern wisdom, posed a captivating thought experiment. What if, when we die, we wake up? This question isn't just a curiosity. It's a philosophical riddle that invites us to rethink everything we believe about life, death, and what it means to truly exist. This isn't a shallow exploration of the afterlife. Instead, we'll delve into Watts' transformative ideas, drawing on insights from philosophy, spirituality, and even science. Could it be that death is not the annihilation we fear, but an awakening to a greater reality? Let's uncover the profound truths hidden in this provocative question, examining its power to change the way we live and understand our place in the cosmos. Alan Watts had an extraordinary way of reframing our deepest fears, peeling back the layers of our assumptions to reveal profound truths. Among our most universal anxieties lies the fear of death, a fear rooted in the belief that it represents a strict, final endpoint. In the Western worldview, death is the ultimate void, a terrifying cessation of self and experience. Watts, however, turned this perception on its head, inviting us to view death not as a grim annihilation, but as a natural and even beautiful part of existence. He likened death to sleep, something we experience daily yet never fear. Every night we surrender to unconsciousness, losing ourselves in dreams and silence. But remarkably, we wake up, refreshed, renewed, and rarely giving the process a second thought. Watts asked, why should death be any different? Just as we cannot conceive of being asleep forever, we also cannot truly comprehend the idea of nothingness. The concept itself is paradoxical because the very act of imagining nothing requires consciousness, the very thing we presume to lose. This is where Watts's brilliance shines. Death, he suggested, might be less about ceasing to exist and more about transitioning from one mode of awareness to another. This perspective challenges our most rigid beliefs about endings. Perhaps death isn't an endpoint at all, but a reunion, a shedding of the illusion of separateness. It's the moment we awaken from the dream of individuality to discover that what we thought was the end was merely the next chapter in an infinite story. In the wisdom of Eastern philosophies, death is not an end, but a seamless transition, part of a cosmic dance known as samsara, the perpetual cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Unlike Western notions of finality, samsara invites us to see life and death as intertwined movements in a larger cosmic performance. This cyclical view suggests that death is not something to fear, but a natural rhythm, much like the changing seasons or the ebb and flow of the tides. Alan Watts, deeply influenced by these teachings, often spoke of Lila, the cosmic play. Life, he proposed, is like a grand theatrical performance, where the soul takes on countless roles across different lifetimes. We may identify with a single character in this moment, but just as an actor sheds their costume, so too do we shed our earthly identity upon death. In this shedding, we awaken to the realization that we are not just this fleeting persona, but the eternal consciousness that has always been. What if death is not a final curtain, but a profound awakening, a return to our true nature? Perhaps the boundaries we perceive between self and other, life and death, are but illusions, dissolving as we step back into the eternal dance of existence. Alan Watts's revolutionary idea invites us to reconsider everything we think we know about ourselves. He suggested that we are not independent observers of the universe, but rather the universe itself experiencing life through us. Imagine the ocean, vast and infinite, and each wave a distinct yet inseparable expression of that ocean. When the wave crashes and returns to the sea, it doesn't cease to exist. It merges back into the whole, part of the same endless flow. In this framework, death takes on a different meaning. If we are indeed the universe in temporary disguise, death is not an end, but a return home. It's not the loss of individuality, but the awakening to our true, infinite nature. When Watts asked, "What if we wake up?" He wasn't implying that we preserve our personal identities in an afterlife, but rather that death reveals the illusion of separation. In that awakening, we realize we were never separate to begin with. We are, and always have been, the universe in its entirety. The fear of death, then, becomes a tragic misunderstanding. It's a forgetting of our boundless nature, a misperception that we are alone. In truth, we are not separate from the cosmos, but an expression of it, ever part of the eternal dance. While Watts's ideas are rooted in philosophy and spirituality, modern science is beginning to explore questions that resonate with his vision. Quantum physics, for instance, challenges our conventional understanding of reality, revealing a world where particles can exist in multiple states, where observation shapes existence, and where the boundaries between matter and energy blur. Could consciousness be more fundamental than we think? Some scientists argue that it may not be a mere byproduct of the brain, but a primary feature of the universe itself. This aligns with the idea that death could be a transition of awareness rather than an end. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, offer intriguing evidence. Many who've had NDEs describe sensations of waking up into a more vivid, interconnected reality. Time and space dissolve, replaced by a profound sense of unity and peace. Watts's notion of waking up seems eerily similar, a shift from the limited perception of individuality to an expansive, infinite awareness. Alan Watts often compared our experience of life to that of a dream, urging us to question the very nature of reality. Think about your nightly dreams. While you're in them, they feel absolutely real, full of emotions, people, and events that seem just as significant as those in your waking life. Yet, the moment you awaken, the illusion dissolves, and you realize it was all a transient creation of the mind. What if our waking life is no different? Watts proposed that, just as we wake from sleep, death could be the ultimate awakening, a moment when we step out of the dream of individuality and into a much broader, more profound reality. If we are already in a dreamlike state, the life we know might not be as solid and permanent as it seems. It's all part of an illusion that serves to distract us from a deeper truth. This raises an intriguing question. How would we live differently if we understood that this life is but a temporary dream? Could it free us from fear, attachments, and the anxiety of time? Perhaps, by embracing this idea, we can begin to live with a deeper sense of freedom and awareness, knowing that we are already part of something far greater. Alan Watts' philosophy offers a radical shift in how we approach death, inviting us to let go of the fear that binds us. This fear, deeply rooted in the belief that we are separate, finite beings, only persists as long as we hold on to the illusion of individuality. But what if, instead of isolated waves, we are part of the infinite ocean, an eternal, interconnected consciousness? In this context, death is not something to fear. It is merely a return to the source, a transformation, not an end. By seeing death not as a tragedy but as a rediscovery of our true nature, we begin to dissolve the grip of fear. Death, Watts suggested, is an invitation to remember the unity we have always known but momentarily forgotten. Rather than resisting it, we are encouraged to embrace it as part of the natural ebb and flow of existence. Imagine approaching death with curiosity, not dread, like stepping through a door into a new adventure. What awaits on the other side may be as mysterious and wondrous as life itself. By embracing death, we step into a fuller understanding of life's endless continuity, finding freedom in the very thing we once feared. One of the most profound teachings in Alan Watts' philosophy is the idea that death is not the only opportunity for awakening, it is the present moment that holds the key to true awareness. If death, as Watts suggests, is a form of awakening to a larger, infinite reality, what if our everyday lives are also a form of sleeping? What if the real task is to wake up now, in the present moment, to the boundless potential of existence? Watts believed that much of our suffering arises from clinging to illusions, such as the belief in our separateness from the universe, the illusion of permanence, and the fantasy of control. These false ideas cloud our perception and prevent us from fully experiencing the richness of life. We spend so much time either regretting the past or worrying about the future that we forget to be fully present with the moment at hand. Yet it is in this moment, this very instant, that life unfolds in all its beauty and complexity. To truly live is to wake up to the present moment, free from the weight of past mistakes and future anxieties. The present is where the infinite potential of existence bursts into being, where every experience is both an ending and a new beginning. By releasing our grip on illusions and embracing the present, we transcend the limitations of time and self, allowing us to fully immerse ourselves in the miraculous flow of life. In this space, we are no longer trapped in a cycle of suffering, but open to the infinite creativity that life offers. So what if, when we die, we wake up? The beauty of Watt's question lies in its openness. It doesn't demand a definitive answer. Instead, it invites us to explore the mystery of existence with wonder and humility. Whether we see death as a return to cosmic unity, a continuation of consciousness, or an awakening from the dream of individuality, the possibilities are awe-inspiring. Alan Watts reminds us that the mystery of death is inseparable from the mystery of life. By embracing both, we transcend fear and open ourselves to the infinite. In the end, perhaps it isn't about finding answers, but learning to dance with the questions.